so I know it's been a long time since I've been on my channel, and that's kind of because I've been trying to figure things out as far as which direction I want this to go. But basically, I decided to just make my channel a lifestyle channel because a lot of things have changed. It's not going to be about meals anymore because I'm not doing that anymore. I'll talk about the rest later because I've actually opened back up my business and things like that. And I also homeschool my autistic son. So that's why I decided to make this video. I wanted to touch base with a lot of parents out there that might be going through the same things I might be going through, or you might not. But I do feel like autism is on the rise. It's a lot of kids with autism, and I'm not going to sit here and try to debate on why that is the case, but I wanted to share my experience as an autistic parent. I don't know what prompted me to make this video. I don't know if it's because today is an emotional day because it's my father's birthday, his heavenly birthday. My father passed away a while ago. So I don't know if I'm emotional because of that or because today I just signed up for the Autism Speaks Autism Walk, which I haven't done in a long time, but I decided to do it again this year. And just me thinking about my son with autism has brought up a lot of feelings. So I don't know if that's the case, but I'm just going to share my experience as a parent, and this is my experience, nobody else's. I just want to share, like, from his diagnosis to just how I feel as a parent, how lonely it gets. I also want to share what I went through with the school system, because obviously you heard in the beginning that I homeschool him. And now he's a preteen, so I want to share what it's like having a preteen, things like that. So, I mean, I was going to write stuff down, but I'm just going to try to go off the top of my head, if that makes sense. And if I leave out stuff, I might backtrack, but I'm going to try my best to share my experience with you guys. So, if you don't mind listening, just stay tuned. So, my son is 13 years old, and he's autistic. I'm not going to go into levels because I'm in the state of Ohio, and the doctor I went to didn't give me a level. However, I do feel like he's kind of severe because he is nonverbal. Some people are high functioning. My son isn't. He is nonverbal, and he requires a lot of help with things to live. So I would say my son got diagnosed between the ages of 2.5 and 3, because I did notice, like, after 1, he wasn't talking. And so I Googled, my son is not talking at 1 yet. What does that mean? And then autism popped up, but it also asked me other questions like, does he wave goodbye or have things faded away? And I started to think, yeah, things started to fade away. I noticed, like, when he was probably like between 9 months and 1, I did, like, you know how babies start saying dada and mama, or they look at you and wave bye bye. My son would do that. He did that at one point in time, but I did notice it went away and he wasn't talking. And then it was like, do your child make eye contact? I noticed he didn't do that either. So I started to dig further into autism. I knew nothing about it. So I started to look more into it, and I was like, well, I think our son might be autistic. And that's another thing I wanted to bring up. I'm not single. I have a husband, and you know, I have help. A lot of people are single parents, so I commend you guys, but I have help. So I asked him, you know, what did he think? And my father, I'm sorry, y'all. My husband is a person who, I'm not going to say lets me take the lead role, but when it comes to stuff like that, he'll be like, well, whatever you think, I'm on board with. So I was telling him, I think our son might be autistic. We should get him checked. So I made an appointment for him to get tested through the Cleveland Clinic, and they have a Center of Autism for Children, which is like supposed to be the top of the line, but we'll get back to that. But anyway, I went through them when my son was probably like 2.5. So I forget how far out the testing was, but I feel it was fairly quick, and we got him tested. And what he did was went in a room, and they like kind of watched him play, which I understand why. They wanted to see how would he play with a truck or an action figure or a doll or something. Like, would he play with it like regular kids do, or how was he playing with the stuff? And I even noticed like he played differently. He would line things up. He wouldn't interact like fake play, like make believe, like you're supposed to with dolls or with trucks. Like make them go beep beep and make the dolls act like they're doing stuff and stuff like that. He would just, I don't know. You could tell he looked past objects when he would line them up. I don't know his angle, but his mind was different, and I could tell. So we got the diagnosis. Probably, did we get it the same day? I think we did. I can't remember, but we got the diagnosis. And I remember me and my husband, we sat in the car. I don't know if he cried, but I remember I cried for like a brief second because I kind of knew. And after we cried, we just sat there and said, okay, now let's put our big drawers on because we got to do what we got to do to make sure our son is taken care of. So I started doing a lot of research online. That's what I do when I find stuff out. I do a lot of research. And I found this place called Help Me Grow. And it's supposed to be for kids ages 3 through 5, which help you before your kid gets into school. And y'all, I might pause this video a lot because my son, he's here, obviously. And you might hear him stemming a lot. But right now, he's turning the TV up in the living room. And I'm going to pause it to go turn it down. Which is strange because I know a lot of autistic kids don't like noise. But he likes noise. So hold on, let me go do this and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So like, I went through Help Me Grow and they help you get ready for preschool. So what I had was a lady who would come out. I don't know her title, but she would give us more information on autism and come out and teach us as parents how to deal with him. It wasn't even called ABA, but that's what she would do. And she would give me all kind of like resources to get him ready for school. And I thought that was great. She came out, I think, once a week, and she was wonderful. She would come to our home and show us how to deal with him or whatever, how to redirect him, just teach him how to do things differently because his mind worked differently. And then, so we got him into preschool, which was, it was combined. I forgot what it was called, but peer models. He would have peer models, so he was mixed in a class with regular kids and kids with disabilities, I guess, so they can model them on how to act. And he went for like half a day. But I want to also touch on this, and I don't know why I'm touching on this. Maybe it's to show y'all like how my mind is thinking. So I have 2 older kids. And when I got pregnant with Tavon, I had got my tubes tied. So he was a surprise. I didn't want any more kids. So like when I found out he had autism, I used to be like, God, why? Like, I didn't want more kids. So why would you give me this challenge? I'm not saying I didn't want my son, but just to know how my mind think, I was just wondering why would God do this to me? So when he was younger, I didn't get a lot of help with him. I didn't trust nobody. Not saying my family's not trustworthy, but he really didn't go anywhere besides my mom's house. I didn't trust nobody with him. I didn't let my in-laws help, and I don't even know why I did that, which made it harder for me in the future, and I circle back to that. But I just wanted to give y'all a little background on like how it was. So like, I decided to let him start the Head Start program, and he would go half a day. And I loved the program he was in. It was a male teacher, and my son is more male dominant. He listens to males more, which is probably because we have an all-male household. Like I said, he has 2 older brothers, his father, and then it's just me. So a lot of people will ask me, well, how did you potty train your son? How did you potty train him? And believe me, I went through a lot of stuff with him to the point where he would smear shit in the bathroom, all that. Like, I know a lot of parents probably go through that now. It was like a little phase. It came and it went, but he learned how to use the bathroom pretty fast by seeing his father and his brothers do it. Now, he did start by trying to stand up and pee, which he would spread everywhere. So we got him sitting down in the beginning. But then we got him back to standing up again. So when he went into preschool, that we really didn't have to go through that phase of diapers because they pretty much, potty trained him in school. We was on the same regimen at home what they was at school, so that worked out fine. But he had a male teacher, and first the male teacher came out to our house probably like 3 times before he started school to like get to learn and know him, which I thought was awesome. And this was in South Euclid. I stay in South Euclid, Ohio. So the district in the beginning, they were good. So when he started preschool, it was a good experience. I loved his teacher. We would text message each day. He would send me pictures on how he's doing. And like for the most part with most of his teachers, I text message because you're not gonna send me home a piece of paper that's gonna tell me, oh, he did this and did that. Like, how I'm supposed to know the details? I need to know details. That way when he gets home and he's triggered by something, I can know what happened throughout his day to make him be triggered. Because with autistic kids, anything can trigger them. It could be something they ate for lunch, the color of your shirt, the way the wind feels when it blows, a sound that was made, something that happened earlier in the day that's still on his mind, to where the point where he gets home, he is elevated. And my son, I noticed at a young age, for one, autistic kids are very strong. I don't know why. For two, he was violent. And for three, he used that violence in a meltdown. Even though he was little, he was very strong. And his meltdowns would be very, very self-harming to him and harming to people around him. So also at an early age, I seeked out medication, and I told myself I would be one of those parents that would never medicate their child. But I felt like it came to a point with Tavon where we had to, because his meltdowns were getting violent. He would throw things, he would hurt himself and hurt people around him. So I'm like, something not right. Like, we got to see what's going on, like, as far as, like, mentally with him. So I started seeing a neurologist, who eventually will put him on different medications till we found one that would fit. And we actually found one with one that would fit. So he became medicated probably, I would say, once he started kindergarten at 5. So anyway, he went through Head Start all the way to 5th grade with the one teacher. And he was actually held a year back because we also agreed that we didn't think he was ready to go to kindergarten. School was great. His teacher was great. Everything was great. But I didn't have no help. So we were doing school. We were doing speech and occupational therapy outside of school. So pretty much we was doing everything we needed to do to get our son help. And we would get comments like, oh, you guys are young. I think we were like in our 30s, early 30s. Oh, you guys are so young to be so hands-on with him and doing the right things. And I'm thinking in my head, parents supposed to do what they supposed to do for their kids. Like, what do y'all mean? Like, is there a lot of parents out here not taking care of their special needs kids? So anyways, we did that. My husband worked most of the time. I quickly realized I couldn't work because I had to be mostly hands-on with my child. And I was that type of parent that didn't want him being babysat by different people. He had to be with me. If he can't talk and tell me what's going on, he had to be with me. So it was school, therapy, and home. For the most part, that's what it was. And I felt alone for the most part because I feel like nobody could relate. People stopped inviting me places, but then once I think about it, I feel like maybe they felt, because they used to invite me and I never would come because I'm like, I'm not bringing him, because bringing him was work. I wasn't enjoying myself. He wasn't enjoying himself. I had to worry about if he was going to dart here, do this, flip out, do that. And I didn't feel like dealing with that in public. And I also feel like my son is an eloper, and we found out the hard way. I think the first time was one time I was gone somewhere, and my husband was home with him. And my husband said he took a shower, and next thing he knew, my son was gone. Hold on, y'all. My phone ringing. Hold on. Sorry, y'all. I'm back. So, where was I at with the eloping? Oh, yeah. So my husband said he took a shower and he was gone. He said he saw the back door was open. He ran out. Look, my son was walking down the street. And, y'all, I lost it because I'm like, anything could have happened. He was almost at the end of the street. It was somebody down there working, and my husband was flagging him down, like, stop him, stop him. Like, so much stuff went through my mind. I'm like, he could have got kidnapped. A car could have backed up out the driveway into him. A dog could have got out the yard and got him anything. So that's when we learned early on he was an eloper. So we got the little alarms that you put on the door. So when your door opened, it'll make a noise. And you can set it on if you want it to be constant, beeping, loud, whatever. So we got that, and that worked for a while. And so, yeah, that's another thing with school. I had to, he's an eloper. So with his IEP, it's something that you get, individualized educational plan for your child. A lot of people tell me it's hard to get one. It wasn't hard for me to get one. I don't know if it's because I had Help Me Girl, Help Me when we enrolled, but he had an IEP from the beginning. So on your IEP, you state the things your kid needs, and I automatically stated he was an eloper, so he always needed somebody by his side. So he had an aide. My son had an aide since he's been in school, a one-on-one aide. He needed one because he would try to take off every chance he got. So in the beginning, my son was also a picky eater. He only ate like French fries. I can't even remember, but he was very picky. But once he got on the medication, the effect of the medication makes him hungry. So that's when he started wanting to try new things. And my son, I can honestly say he has a big palate of things he will eat. Like he would eat a lot, which caused him to gain weight. And also when my son was born, they said he was going to be tall. His legs was long. And let me tell you, my son is 5'10", 230 pounds, and he's 13. So he's big. And I'm just telling y'all that now because I want y'all to picture these meltdowns. So anyway, he would have meltdowns, but they wouldn't be frequent. But when he did have them, they were bad. Like throwing stuff, tearing stuff up, being violent, trying to fight you and stuff. And in the beginning, at first I was like, oh my, like what am I going to do? But I learned very fast that either I'm going to let you sit here and beat me up and tear stuff up, or I am going to restrain you or get in your butt so you can learn this is not what you're going to do. And me and his father, it took us a minute, but we had to learn, like, you're not about to be up here doing all that. So, but it also will interfere with school. Like, for the most part, in Head Start, it really wasn't a problem. But, like, as he got older, it became a problem. So, like, as he went up to, like, K through 3rd, he had his Head Start teacher trained the next teacher who was taking over, which I liked about the district. They made sure that the teacher he was going to really knew him. So he went up there, and then this lady, I think with her life, his aide. Now the aides, they are the ones that spend more time with your kids than the teachers. She cared about my son. Like, I talk to her to this day. If it wasn't for her, I don't know what I would have did. But I've developed a relationship with her to the point where she the only person I would really trust with my son. So when he did have those moments, she knew how to handle him. But then it started to become a problem because his size. So they would say, well, we don't know if your son can continue to be here with the kids because he's bigger than them. And he, you know, he might knock them over and things of that nature. So, like, when they held him back, they realized, like, he needs to go to the next school. And I don't know if they weren't prepared because at first they were going to try to keep him at the K through 3rd school because the next school is 4th through 6th. But finally they said they was going to send him to the other school, and that's when my nightmare began. Well, actually, his last year in 3rd grade, my nightmare began because he had got a new teacher, y'all, and she, that's another thing I don't understand with kids with autism. Y'all know they're not good with change, so I don't understand why y'all won't work out a program to where the kids could be with the same teacher for a while. But anyway, he had got a new teacher, and she thought she was going to try to change some stuff up, and it was just crazy because, like, I never forget one day she sent me home a letter like, your son messed up, like it was an Etch-a-Sketch. She like, he broke this toy, you got to replace it. And I'm like, I didn't have no problem with replacing it because she like, I had to pay her $10. But in my head, I'm like, first of all, how was he even able to break this? Because when she showed it to me, it had a bunch of stab marks, it was scratched up, all this stuff. And I said, first of all, who was watching him to the point where he was able to do this? He's supposed to have an aide one-on-one. Second of all, like I just couldn't understand how it happened. So she started to backpedal and say, well, this and that, and not trying to actually tell me what happened. And to make a long story short, I also stated his IEP, y'all know he has these specific behavior problems. So, how, you know, like, I don't know. It was just crazy. So after that, she was fired, though, because she received a lot of complaints from other kids' parents, and she just wasn't the right person for the job. And it does take a special person to do that job. So once he went to the next grade, his aide trained the person that was going to be with him, and she trained him real good to make sure he was going into good hands. I was worried. We all worry when our kids go into different situations. But I can say, with everything I love, public schools don't care about our kids, especially as they get older. And I'm saying that as a parent, and I'm saying that as a person who worked in the public school. I went to the school to meet the teacher. I had to reach out to them to meet the teacher because I'm like, I want to meet who's going to be with my child so I can explain to her things about him so she can know what to do. And when I first met this teacher, she gave me her resume. Like, I came from Monarch School of Autism. I'm this, I'm that. And y'all, I'm not gonna lie, I was tricked at first. And she showed me her room, and she had like a little area where they supposed to like calm down. She had a little small sensory area, because the school he was coming from, they had like a whole sensory room. So they had like a routine with him where they would take him to the sensory room. They would do like so much stuff with him, which I appreciate. But when he got to that bigger school, they didn't have that. So like when she first got in his classroom, she made it seem like she was gonna be doing all these activities with our kids and things like that. That was the total opposite. When he got in her room, she expected him to be like a regular kid, because she taught like regular, like she was used to teaching like high functioning kids. She wasn't used to teaching a child like mine. So like she was sending like newsletters home with homework and stuff like that. And I used to be like, he don't understand this. Like, this is not, his brain works different. He needs different schooling, different like resources, different things. And I'm like, and where's your sensory room? Because they used to talk about how he used to get overwhelmed or had a meltdown. I'm like, well, when it's time for that, he needs a weighted blanket, a weighted backpack to walk around, to de-escalate and deregulate himself. So where's the sensory room so he could decompress? The principal said, what's a sensory room? How you the principal, and you're supposed to be knowledgeable on all your kids, especially the ones with disabilities, and you don't know what a sensory room is? So then she fed me all these fake lies and was like, well, if you just send me more information on the sensory room, I'll try to create one. Do y'all know they sat up there and told me they couldn't make one? Now, I worked in the school. I know that for special needs kids, you get more money per kid for special needs kids. The school had a lot of room. It was you could have turned one classroom into a sensory room for these kids. And y'all mean to tell me y'all getting all these monies for these kids and y'all can't create a sensory room for them? I worked in the school. I know how it works. All they care about is attendance and test scores. They would let so many kids get away with so much stuff. It was ridiculous. The school is 4th through 6th. How are y'all letting kids vape, stab other kids with objects they done made, shanks and stuff, and still able to go to school, not get suspended, not get reprimanded or nothing? Like, make it make sense. I already knew what the school was about, but they didn't know, like, if you're not a parent that's going to show up and show out for your kids, then they don't care. And I was one of those parents. So they tried to sit up there and tell me that they couldn't do that. So then we noticed my son started having problems. He wasn't meshing with his teacher, which is fine, but I requested for him to be moved to a different room, because first in the IEP, it states you cannot displace a kid without the parent's consent. So by him even moving her to her room without my consent, they was in error right there. So I requested for them to change him back to his old teacher or change him to a different room. They told me they couldn't do it. How can't y'all do that? How can't y'all meet my accommodations for my child that y'all getting paid for? They brought in services from the county for ABA, which I appreciate, and he had a one-on-one, which I appreciate, but that wasn't enough. It was just the teacher, and they was trying to blame it on the atmosphere and everything. My son used to love school. He started to change. Then one day, y'all, I went in the classroom. I went to the room. I don't know if it was to drop something off to see. Oh, she wanted to meet me or something. I knocked on the door, and she didn't answer. I stood there for a minute. Y'all, I used my badge to swipe in, because like I told y'all, I worked there. I was a recess aide, so I worked there. Do y'all know they had my son pinned up in the corner? And then when I cussed them out about it, they're going to say, oh, well, you weren't supposed to come in here. I said, no, you mad I came in here because I saw that. They like, no, you couldn't come in here because it's a danger to other kids. How's it a danger to other kids and I work there? Make it make sense. The teacher used to call me every day talking about I have to come get him. So I had to leave work early and get him and leave. He didn't start having these problems till he got with this teacher. And you know what? They tell you to pay attention to your child, because when your child can't speak, and they start behaving differently, something's going on. So yeah. The first thing I did was request cameras to be in the room. You have a right as a parent to request cameras. And if you write it up and they don't respond, then you have a right to like fight that. I asked them. I asked them twice. They never responded. So then I started doing my own research into If the school is not following law for your kids, what do? You file a complaint with the Ohio Department of Education. So that's what I did. I live in Ohio. I filed a complaint on the request for cameras. I filed a complaint on violating the IEP of moving him into a different classroom without my consent. I filed a complaint on them asking me to pick him up early. And y'all, I filed a complaint because me and the teacher used to text, and she used to lie and tell me that she was going to be absent, or somebody was going to be absent, so I couldn't bring my son to school because he wasn't going to have the support he needed. But girl, I worked there. So coworkers and friends would tell me, because I would have to end up staying home with him when I couldn't bring him in. Oh, well, such and such, his aide was there today, so I don't even know why she would tell you that. So I caught her in multiple lies. So I filed a complaint on that. Y'all, they subpoenaed my phone records, her phone records, the school. And to make a long story short, they found the school was in violation of like 3 things that was on that list that I stated to them. Now, the Ohio Department of Education, they can't step in and tell the school, oh, you need to fire this person or you need to fire that person. All they can do is recommend that you do changes. So do y'all know the school cannot, like, technically make them, the Department of Education can't make the school do what's right. So y'all, I tried reaching, and before all this, I tried reaching out to, like, the superintendent, like different people on different levels before I got to the superintendent to try to see if we could solve this problem with my son getting the, the stuff he need. The superintendent just brushed me off. He kept passing me down to other people. Like, this is supposed to be your school. You don't know what's going on in your school. I'm a concerned parent. You're supposed to be all about the kids, but you won't take a second to meet with me. Yeah, so once I filed that complaint, here he go emailing me. Well, I was going to reach out to you, but I can't because you filed the complaint. So once we finish with that, then we can, talk. And then his assistant emailed me like, well, what can we do to make this better? They wanted the complaint to go away. And you know what I said? I said, okay, well, y'all can pay for my son. Because by law, if y'all can't accommodate him, y'all can pay for him to go anywhere else. Because I was trying to get him in Learner School of Autism because it was by the Cleveland Clinic and they were supposed to be the best. First, they was telling me it's a wait list. And I said, I don't care how long the waiting list is. I want him to go there. Because in my head, I'm thinking it's the best place for him. So the school agreed. They didn't clean up their act with the violations, though. But they agreed to pay for my son to go somewhere else. So immediately, I didn't withdraw him, but I kept him home. And they told me they would supply a teacher to come to our house to teach him and get his therapies because he was getting speech and occupational. They told me they would do that until we can get him into the other school. Do y'all know, like, a month went past and I still didn't get no teacher? So I said, you know what? I just homeschool him until we can find him a place to go. So in the meantime, while I'm homeschooling him, and then the whole time I'm homeschooling him, like, my son not violent. All this behavior subsided. So it had to be something going on with that school. And I think she was just trying to make him sit still and act like a regular student. And you cannot do that. I don't think no abuse or none was going on, but I think the way they was trying to teach him, it wasn't working. And these people aren't equipped for our kids. They aren't equipped for them. It's short staff. I understand a lot of people, the training is short. And honestly, people, it's hard for us as parents to deal with our kids. So I get it. But if you get in that profession, I feel like you should kind of know what you're dealing with. It's and then with autism being so profound now, like, it should be more programs for our kids. But so, in the meantime, I'm visiting these schools. I'm not liking none of them. The 2 at the top of my list, Monarch School of Autism and Cleveland Clinic Learner School. I went to Cleveland Clinic Learner School, y'all, and it was like a psychiatric ward jail. And it's crazy because when my son first got diagnosed with them, I used to take him to speech and occupational therapy on the hospital side. That side looked new, it's nice, all that. Got all these resources. Wait till you go to the school side. And don't quote me on this, but I think they get like $60,000 per year per child for that school. There's no color on the walls. It's white and gray. It's locked in like a jail. Some of the kids was like contained in a tight room, just tables, rundown stuff, walls chipping, all this. It's like no resources in there, no sensory room, no this, no that, no nothing for our kids. And I'm just looking like, you really expect me to send my son to a jail? Sad, y'all. Very sad. And they're getting all our money. And that's another reason I'm really wanting to make this video, because I want to make y'all aware of it. They're getting all this money for our kids and they're not doing nothing. So I go to Monarch School of Autism. Now, Monarch is a little different. They have campuses and housing because some kids stay there, which I didn't know. I like that school, though. I'm not going to lie. Like, when I went there, I actually saw my son and the kids that looked like my son. They had resources. They had stuff outside for them. They had sensory room. They had, like, small classrooms with teachers and therapists and all that. They had a little laundry room for the kids to learn how to do laundry. They had, like, a little kitchen area. It was very nice. I could really see my son going there. So I chose that school. That's what I said. I'm going to wait for this school. They played in my face, y'all. My son was supposed to start that August. I saw that school in like April or May, March, something like that. I kept reaching out to them as they got closer to August, and nobody was saying that. They kept on saying they waiting for staffing, to get staffing together. Just, it kept hitting me with that. And I'm like, well, when I came to tour, y'all said he was good to go. What changed? And I get people quit and all that, but then when they kept hitting me with this, they got to get staffing and all that stuff, it started making me think. And I was like, I know a lot of schools are tight with staffing, and they'll hire anybody just to fill the role. And I was like, I don't have time. Hold on, let me ignore this, y'all, real quick. I said, I don't have time to be putting my son in a school with somebody who's undertrained and impatient, and an accident happened. So I just was like, I reached out to them finally in like October, because they kept telling me he's supposed to start in August, and October didn't hit, and they still ain't said nothing. And I was like, I understand stuff go on, but I'm just disappointed in the lack of communication with you guys, because y'all supposed to be one of the top schools, and look at how y'all treating me. Like, and they did apologize, and they said they were wrong for not keeping me in the loop. But I told them I gracefully declined my son going there, because I couldn't see it happening, y'all. And I don't know. A lot of people say I'm crazy because I don't let him do stuff. But at the end of the day, look at all the stuff that's going on in our world. People abusing our kids. Even with willingly knowing that cameras are there. They don't got the patience. So they so-called restraining our kids and choking them out and hurting our kids and calling the police on them. And then the police come and God knows what happens. They get arrested. They get handcuffed. They get hurt. Like, I just couldn't live with myself if something happened to my son. So I decided to homeschool him. Now, I told myself my son going to 8th grade this year. I just filled out my other paper for the intent to homeschool for him to be home. But I thought about maybe for high school letting him go to Brush, because that's the lady that leads that program is great. She's great. They, like, the whole family is autism focused. They got businesses outside of the school that focus on autism and stuff like that. But I just don't want to put my son in a situation. I'm not trying to hinder him where he would get hurt. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not doing that. My son is big. People might mistake him for being aggressive. And since he's been home, it's been like a 360. My son is super smart. He still gets speech therapy. He doesn't get occupational because he has surpassed the things he needed to learn. So when he does get older, I am going to put him in a life skills program to teach him for life skills, obviously. But, like, I can't see myself putting him back in public school. Like, I'm sorry. Or any school for that matter. I've been trying my best. Like, I'm teaching him. Like, y'all can agree to disagree, but if y'all want more information on how I filed a complaint with the state, even though they really ain't do nothing, but how I got the school to fund, because either A, the school can say they can't accommodate them and legally they have to fund them, or you can file a complaint, or you can get a lawyer. Those are the only 3 ways I know, like, where you can get them placed somewhere else. But I see a lot of parents like noticing that these schools ain't for our kids. But now I'm at the point where, yeah, he's being homeschooled, but I want him to do other stuff. Like, I want to take him on field trips and stuff like that. But it's also like a lot of places that don't accommodate our kids. Like, they used to have a lot of days that was like sensory days, and I did take him to the aquarium for one of those sensory days, and it was good because, like, wasn't no kids there or nothing. But I remember, like, Chuck E. Cheese, Sky Zone, all them used to have sensory days. They don't got them no more. So it's like kind of hard. But I also feel like since most of the time all the kids are in school, when he's not during the daytime, maybe I could take him to places during that time. I don't know. And I don't want to keep my son inside. But I know I can't take him nowhere by myself only because he's so big. And I'm not saying he'll have a fit, but what if he do? Like, what if he have a meltdown and I can't, like, get him out of the situation? I don't want people calling the police or nothing like that. So I don't know if I'm the only parent that think that way. But, I mean, it is what it is. That's how it is. So I'm just trying my best to get my son through life. And then, like, I don't even know where I'm going where he gets older because I don't trust group homes. I don't trust none of that stuff. I don't. I'm sorry. People could point out they good here, they good there, but at the end of the day, you don't know who doing what with the person you love until you're there. They don't give a damn about no cameras. In the heat of the moment, they don't give a damn about no cameras. Our elderly and our disabled and our nonverbal are the people we need to worry about. And it's sad, but as far as like family, like I don't know. Like, I got my husband, my older kids. I'm trying to teach them how to take care of him because he takes medication for behavior for the day. He takes medication to sleep. So he's an eloper. It's just hard. And then you think I got people calling? Like, can we come up? Like, they know I can't go anywhere with him. So you think I got people calling me like, oh, I'm going to come over. You think people want to get to know my son? Like, I don't have people that want to come over and be like, oh, how's Tavon? I'm going to come over there and chill with you just so I can see how he is. Or just to know anything about him or care about him. Nobody don't care. They can say they care, but don't nobody care. Don't nobody come over here. Don't nobody call about him. Nothing. And I don't know, I try to blame myself because I shut a lot of people out in the beginning, but I just feel like it's lonely. It's lonely. And then my sisters, we all have one kid with autism, which is why I more so believe it's genetics. I think it's on my dad's side because my sister has a son. He's high functioning with autism. He's in his 20s. Then my son is the next child, which is 13. Then my other sister, my baby sister, has a daughter who's a son who's under him. He's the baby. I think he's like 7. And all 3 have autism. I think I might even got a form of autism. I try to think about the stuff I went through when I was younger. I think I do. So I kind of think it's genetics, but it is showing up at a higher rate in our children. So I mean, it could be anything, but I don't know. It's just, I know as an autism parent, it's frustrating because nobody, even another parent with autism, they can kind of relate to you, but nobody can really, really be in your shoes because kids with autism are all different. So, I don't know. I'm just hoping they got more resources for our kids because I feel like with the more kids that's having autism, we need to develop more things for them to have and do. And our educational system needs to start by... We need more autism schools like that cater to our kids. They got to be on a totally different curriculum. We need schools that's fenced in and for our elopers, and just like RBTs don't go to school long enough. I commend them for what they do. They don't go to school long enough to be able to handle our kids. And it's an emotionally challenging job. Because if a kid smack me in my face, the first thing I'm going to want to do is smack them back. But you can't do that with other people's kids. So I get it, but I'm not putting my kid in that position, if it makes sense. So yeah, I just want to share my journey because I don't know. I'm at a emotional war with myself over my kid, like what to do. But like, as far as I know, I'm doing the best I can. I got help, so I commend those people that are single doing it. I got help. We ain't had a date in a long time because he goes somewhere and I stay home and watch my son, or I go somewhere, he stays home and watch my son. That's how it is. So I know a lot of y'all can relate to that too. I ain't got nobody else to help him. And yeah, my mother and my sisters might ask, it means for them, but they don't know what to do with him, honestly. Like, nobody who doesn't live with him day to day knows to do with him. Like, my adult kids are just learning. Like, I'm letting them step in during meltdown so they can be able to take control and take care of him, because they gonna have to take care of him when they not gonna have to, but hopefully they'll take care of him when we leave this earth. So I don't know. Then I'm about to start doing more research on guardianship, because I heard when they get 18, you actually gotta apply for guardianship for them, which is crazy because I get SSI for my son. we should say already that, you know, he need help, but I don't know, just legal stuff. So, but I hope y'all enjoyed this video. I just wanted to get a lot of stuff off my chest. I probably left a lot of stuff out, but for the most part, I just wanted to share it with y'all, what it's like to be an autism parent. So, I don't know what the next video gonna be about, but I hope y'all like this one and subscribe to my channel. But I'll talk to y'all later, because he kind of quiet. Well, I hear him upstairs with the TV, but still I gotta go check on him. So I'll talk to y'all soon. Thank y'all for watching.